Hello, this is Jason with Black Walnut Kitchen Design, and I want to thank you for agreeing to move forward with us and trust us to do your kitchen. I'm sure you're going to do a fabulous job and you're going to love the way your kitchen turns out. So I created a checklist to help guide you on what to expect and what we're going to need from you, and then what to expect from us. My techs, they're going to have a checklist that they go by when they're in the house, when they're working on the doors. So this will give all of us just a little bit of guidance on how to structure this process and how we're going to start, how things are going to be in the middle, and then also how things are going to end, how we're going to close this thing out. So we're going to go through each item of the checklist. Again, if you have any questions about this checklist, give me a call, but I'm recording this so that way I can discuss each line item. So this way I'll answer those questions up front just by discussing them. But if you do have some that I've not discussed or touched on, yeah, go ahead and give me a call, 770-450-0869. Okay, so the first line in the checklist is the countertops are gonna have to be cleared off. The reason why we need this is because the guys, they're going to be covering the countertops. They're going to be masking, putting paper on them, so that way they're going to be able to do their job. If my technicians get to the house and there's a lot of items on the countertops that haven't been cleared, it's really going to delay us from getting the project done. And we really don't want that. Their time is valuable. We understand your time is valuable. We want to be able to get this done and knocked out and get your kitchen back to you and looking great. So we definitely have to have the countertops cleared before the technicians come out. So you definitely want to take care of that. We're starting on a Monday. You definitely want to do that by Sunday. The paperwork, signed and initialed, you're going to be getting that through an app. It's probably going to be Sign Now, and it's going to have all the paperwork, this included, so you can go ahead and sign, initial the paperwork, everything that we discussed. I also have a disclaimer video, so if you haven't got that, reach out to me like, hey, Jason, I haven't seen the disclaimer video, and it goes through all the disclaimers. The decision maker needs to be present on day one whenever the technicians arrive, for obvious reasons. This is a project. We're going to be in your home. There's some details that we got to discuss, so we need to make sure that the decision maker is there or available to sign and kind of go through the initial walkthrough, point out some areas of concern. Maybe one of the rails aren't pulling out correctly, or you need that fixed, or just different things. So the decision maker needs to be available for the initial and also the final walkthrough, of course. Any hardware that you have, it has to be present on day one. We used to wait until the end, and what would happen is the customer still wouldn't have the hardware, and so we'd have to send another team member out to install the hardware and pull them off another project. We want to avoid this because that team member, he could be closing out another job. So you want to make sure that we have everything available once we start. If I do have to send someone else out a later date, whenever your hardware gets in the mail, there is a $200 trip fee. Again, if we have to come back out outside of the date that we started the project, for the technician to go ahead and install those poles. Now we are spraying in your house, so the next line here, we're spraying in your house, so every now and then there is some paint that might get on your walls, that might get on other places, the ceiling. So if you have touch-up paint, typically it's in your basement or your garage. Just make sure that we have that on site so we could do the touch-up while the technicians are in the house, okay? Also, we want to review the work order for accuracy. So if it's me or there's another one of my sales guys that came out to sell the project, anything that was verbally said, you want to make sure that's in that contract in order for it to be completed. Every now and then I have customers saying like, hey, Josh said, he's going to throw in these pulls and the hinges, or Jason said he's going to do that. So just make sure that before we start, that anything that was verbally stated is written in the contract. Now, we can add those items on later if there's certain pulls or hinges, but we just can't add them on for free. All of our projects are very competitively priced. We really don't have a lot of margin to work on. We're trying to win the job, and so we can't have a lot of cushion in there to give away free items. So it's competitively priced. So if it's not in there, please let me or management know, and we'll go ahead and add the items that were not written into the contract, so that way it's all accounted for. Again, I just want to reiterate, We cannot offer free items if there was, something that was said, but let's make sure that it was in writing. So we'll just need your signature here. So that's everything for day one before we start. All this has to be initialed and signed. Now for closeout, very similar. Again, the hardware, Touch of Paint has to be on site. Really need it at the start, but we cannot have it later than this. Every now and then we'll give a grace period, but it cannot go past the day that we're installing for obvious reasons. You would go walk with the lead tech after he's installed all the doors. You want to check the door quality, just make sure the doors are smooth, there's no chips, there's no missing paint, etc. So you want to check all the doors, you want to check all the side panels, the trim work, let's say the baseboards, quarter round, or the crown molding. Just want to double check, just make sure everything looks good. You want to go ahead and check this. And after you do the final walkthrough with the technician, payment has to be made while the technician is installing the doors. So after the technician has installed the doors, you're going to do the walkthrough, and then he's going to ask for payment. You will pay the technician. Let's say we've had situations where customers say, hey, I want my husband to be here, I want so-and-so to be here, can you come back later and we'll do the walkthrough? We do have to charge a $500 inconvenience fee because we won't be able to install the doors. We may have to take some down because we have to do it at the same time. Hope you understand that, and you'll just sign an initial here, okay? Also, the remaining balance, we'll write this amount here. So let's say you paid $1,000 deposit and there's $3,000 left. We would write this amount as well and send it to you on the last day. So again, we're a business just like any other business. After services are rendered, we would just expect to be paid while the technician is there. We cannot accept payment later on or the next day. That's just how we do business. I could tell you a bunch of stories of customers saying they're going to pay on this day and they just don't, or there's an issue here. I've heard it all. I've heard it all. So just like any other business, whenever the technician is doing the walkthrough, after he's done, you just pay the technician at that point. And then the remaining balance will be here. And then last, please provide feedback, leave a review how your experience was. Know the experience is going to be great. If it wasn't, please give me a call so that way I can do whatever I can to make sure that your experience went smooth. Again, I'm Jason. This is your closeout day checklist and your first day checklist. So if you have any questions about this checklist, give me a call, 770-450-0869. Thanks.